Presented by the all-new 2016 Honda Pilot, proud partner and official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to St. Petersburg, Florida at Tropicana Field. This is the final game of the 2015 regular season. The Blue Jays looking for their 94th win of the season. Everything else has been decided except the best record in the American League. John Gibbons deciding to give Mark Burley the ball today to start this game, Pat. Pretty special day and an emotional day for Gibbons and for Burley.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, there's Mark Burley. He's finishing up his warm-up tosses, and he's going to head back down in there. Father just got out of the hospital, and I think this is a special thing that he wants to do it for himself. He wants to do it for his father, do it for his family. 200 innings. He just needs 2. So we'll see how it plays out. But this is just a special, special day today when you can do something like this.
Right, sure is. And Mark Burley will wrap up his 16-year career with a start here today. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons Ball Club. Ben Revere, top of the order. Josh Donaldson, he leads the American League in RBIs this season. He's had a terrific first year with the Blue Jays and certainly a leading candidate for the MVP award in 2015. And right behind him, a tremendous supporter behind Donaldson in this lineup. When you look at Jose Bautista, what he's done since 2010, he leads the majors with 227 home runs. He's hit 44 of the season.
That is the lineup that Matt Moore will face this afternoon. He's just 26 years old. He was an 8th-round draft pick back in 2007. His season started late because of Tommy John surgery last April. He didn't throw his first pitch in a ball game this year until July the 2nd. He has made 11 starts this year. An ERA a little bit inflated, but Blue Jays know all about Matt Moore. He's 4-2 with a 327 earned run average in 8 starts against the Jays. A left-hander throws very hard. He's got a very good breaking ball. It should be a fun afternoon.
Defensively behind Matt Moore in the outfield, it's Brandon Geyer, Mikey Mantuk, and Steven Souza Jr. from left to right. Gold Glove winner at third is Evan Longoria. Up the middle, it's Cabrera and Beckham. James Loney at first. Luke Maile making his 9th start behind the plate. He'll handle Matt Moore here this afternoon in Florida.
And yesterday's hero in the ball game, Tim Beckham. He was a first-round draft pick in 2008. Beckham got the game-winning hit yesterday. He might figure in the equation next year as their shortstop. He came up as a shortstop as Asdrubal Cabrera as a free agent. We might see Beckham over there, but he has handled second base nicely in this series.
They have been waiting for Beckham for a long time. He was a first-round pick. Ben Revere will step in the box. Revere went 1 for 5 in the game yesterday. Had a couple of strikeouts. But he has really been a terrific addition. Here's the first pitch of the game. It's in there for a strike. And we are underway. For the season, Revere batting .306. As the Blue Jays at .318. Broken bat. Cabrera will have to hurry. Ben Revere has an infield hit. Boy, that was hitting the perfect spot for Revere. He got jammed, broke his bat, but Cabrera going in the hole just couldn't get much on the throw.
A lot of speed out of that batter's box from Revere, and he's thinking base hit. You're right. Cabrera rounds into it. He just cannot get enough on that throw. You can see the hump in the throw as it makes its way across the infield. And Ben Revere right out of the box. He's thinking base hit, and he gets an infield single to start this one.
That's his 181st hit of the season. He's had another outstanding year with the bat. This is Josh Donaldson. He is 2 for 3 against Matt Moore for his career. Donaldson, certainly a leading candidate for MVP. And he would love to get a couple of hits today and reach that 300 plateau.
Yeah, there it is right there. 298 batting average for Donaldson. A couple base hits ensures him to hit 300. You know, there's only 20 hitters who have hit 300 this season.
Isn't that something?
In all of baseball. 20.
It's a rare breed to have a 300 season, and Donaldson would love to cap off a terrific season with that 300 batting average as well.
All the great numbers that the Blue Jays have put up this year, they have one 300 hitter. That's Ben Revere.
Donaldson takes a breaking ball called strike 3. Moore backed off that breaking ball and dropped it in for a strike.
That's Matt Moore's finishing pitch right there. He's got a very good breaking ball. Throws it with the same arm speed as his fastball. Look at the spin on that thing. It just drops right into the strike zone for his first strikeout. When he's healthy, his stuff is as good as anybody on this staff, and he can be one of those guys with a high strikeout type of games.
Jose Bautista, we mentioned his 227 home runs since 2010. That's the best in baseball. 40 home runs, 114 driven in. What a year he's had.
You know what's made it, I think, a little bit even more impressive is the injury that he suffered in April to his right shoulder. And if you know anything about hitting, your arms play a very important part. He had some discomfort in that shoulder. He had to DH for the longest time, something like 5 or 6 weeks. He's healthy now, and his bat shows it.
With all of the offensive accomplishments he has attained in his career, I could tell you he's most excited about going to the postseason. Once you get into the postseason and the possibility of becoming a World Series championship, that supersedes everything else you've done.
And the spotlight shines on you, doesn't it? How many times have we talked about the big stage and the good players come to play on the big stage? I'm really anxious to see what players like Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, Josh Donaldson, what they do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to see these 3 guys hitting in the playoffs. Bautista takes another walk. That'll set the table for Edwin Encarnacion, who is 1 homer shy of joining Donaldson and Bautista with 40 home runs.
Well, he's had one heck of a week so far. Blue Jays went on the road first to Baltimore, and he went deep off of his 4-seamer from Chris Tillman way back in left field. He then took Steve Johnson for a ride, and then this bomb to center field in the first day here, and then this liner here. 4 swings, 4 home runs this week. He needs to make it 5 to get an even 40.
Everyone takes all the way. Encarnacion is a power hitter, but he's a lot more than that.
Brooke Jacoby was telling me this morning, he said he's probably the most intelligent hitter that the Blue Jays have. He'll set pitchers up for certain pitches, take pitches like that first one that we saw right there, swing at balls off the plate so he makes sure he gets another one that's setting the hitter up. He'll also sit on pitches, and he'll look for certain pitches and certain counts and certain situations, and that's why he is able to knock the ball out of the ballpark.
0-2, 1 out, runners at first and second. There have only been 3 teams in Major League history that have had 3 hitters reach 40 home runs in the same season. There has never been an American League team have 3 40 home run hitters. Pulled foul. Encarnacion hit it hard. Edmonds always reminding himself to go back toward the pitcher. He didn't like the way he hooked that ball, and we saw him hit a home run to dead center here, and it's a big ballpark, straightaway center. It was not a problem for Edmonds.
I think that's when he's at his finest, when he's thinking more in the middle of the field, from left center field to right center field. What that does is it keeps that front shoulder in you. You're not inclined to pull off of the pitch. You'll pull the pitch by using your hands. Just quicken it up, shorten up your swing a little bit on an inside pitch, but your fundamentals have to be good. And if you watch Edwin hit, you can tell when he's ready to take off. When he's rocking back like that, and flattening out that bat, and he's ready to just attack pitches.
2-2. Takes a close pitch, the off-speed pitch downstairs. Chris Colabello is on deck if Encarnacion reaches safely. 3-2-1 out. Revere's at second. An infield hit. Bautista walked. He's at first. Matt Moore in his first inning jam. Strikeout, throw to third. Revere is easy pickings for Luke Maile. Strike him out, throw him out. Matt Moore through the top half of the first. Mark Burley will go to the mound to make this start. Anxious to reach the 200-inning plateau for a 15th straight season. Two-thirds, and he is back out now, 2 innings shy. His wife Jamie is here with many of his family members to witness this great weekend for Burley. Take a look at the lineup for Tampa Bay that will face Mark Burley. Brandon Guyer, top of the order. Mikey Matsuk is in center field, and Evan Longoria. He's got 87 RBIs against the Blue Jays since 2008. That's the most in Major League Baseball. Tim Beckham, the hero in last night's game. For Tampa Bay, he's hit the Blue Jays well this season, a 324 clip.
So why all the fuss about Mark Burley getting the start here? This is why right here. Consecutive seasons, 200-plus innings. This is 15 consecutive years for Mark Burley to do that. It's only happened 4 times in Major League Baseball history. You saw Gaylord Perry on that list. You also saw Don Sutton on that list.
Gaylord Perry and Don Sutton had their streak snapped in 1981 with the strike. Off the end of the bat, Brandon Guyer reaches for it. Goins boots it in. Guyer's going to be safe. Ryan Goins, very uncharacteristically making an error. That's his 3rd error at second this season.
8th on the season for Goins. That was right at him. Ball right at the last minute came up on him, but his hands have been so quick he's been able to handle it. It's right at him. But that last in-between hop handcuffs him, and it'll go down as an error. She thought that that was 1 out. But no, they got to do it again.
Inside to Mikey Matsuk. Matsuk has 3 home runs against Mark Burley, including his first big league homer earlier this season.
Mark pitched here on Friday night, and Matsuk was the one who hit the 3-run homer. He was the one who accounted for all the runs for Tampa.
He is the reason that Burley was taken out of the game when he was in the 7th inning after Guyer was hit by a pitch. Matsuk was the next batter, and Gibbons didn't want Burley to face him again. Off the plate.
Boy, he could use that pitch right there. That one looked like it might have cut across the plate. Got to live on the edges. Got to change speeds. Keep those batters off balance.
Broken bat. Donaldson gloves it. They get one at second on the force out. That's all they'll get. You can sense there's a little extra step in the defense today, playing behind Mark Burley, and Donaldson extended to his left.
You know, there sure is. Everybody wants to see this happen. Donaldson with great reaction at third base. Just a couple of steps and a dive, and then gets the one out, that lead runner. Well, you can sense that from everybody. They want to see this happen. With Mark Burley, you're going to get a lot of ground balls, especially to the right side, or excuse me, on the left side with all the right-handed batters at the plate, so you got to be ready.
Evan Longoria. He goes after the first pitch. Longoria, a .302 career average against Mark Burley, 16 for 53. He's also driven in 87 runs against the Blue Jays. His numbers are down compared to his average. He just hasn't had much offense around him. Burley said when he was asked about this start, he said, "I'll just throw slower than normal." That's the kind of spirit he has.
Below hitting speed, right? There are guys like that they throw below the hitting speed, and it just wholly confuses the batters.
Just off the plate, there's that pitch you were talking about. That he does such a great job of working the corners.
And you can bet Russell Martin is giving the home plate umpire his thoughts about those close pitches. He wants to get that call.
Foul back. Well, the Blue Jays in a perfect scenario. I'd love to see Mark Burley get his 2 innings, and who knows if he's pitching and breezing, you just let him go. But that would get him over the 200 innings plateau. Longoria reaches and slaps it to right. Matuk's going to stop at second. First and second, one out now for Asdrubal Cabrera, the switch hitting shortstop.
That one was slower than normal right there. Took a lot off of that, and I think that allowed Longoria to double clutch and just stay with it and punch it through that hole on the right side.
Asdrubal Cabrera in his first season here with the Rays as a free agent at the end of the season. By all accounts, it sounds as though they'll let him go, and like Pat mentioned, maybe use Tim Beckham at shortstop.
Well, that's what they have to do here. They have to continually churn players, just move them in and move them out once they get towards their free agency or they get too expensive. When it comes to that, they have to move them. And in the past, they have had the replacements.
Two 2-0 to Asdrubal Cabrera. Mark Burley's wife, Jamie, is here. Many family members, and of course everybody thinking about this being the last regular season start for Mark Burley.
How many times have she watched him pitch, her husband pitch, and she looks like it's the first year. She looks nervous, like it's his rookie season.
Well, I think everybody that has their family share their baseball careers, you know, they suffer more than the players because the players are on the field and they have control about what's going on. The family just sits up there kind of in a helpless position. Burley's not getting either corner so far in this game. It's 3-1 now to Cabrera.
He'll make the adjustments. Okay, Alfonso Marquez is not calling that pitch just off the plate. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit closer. Start getting that call.
Mark Burley is third on the active wins leaderboard. 214 wins. He's tied in that category with CC Sabathia. Tim Hudson is the active wins leader with 222. Then Bartolo Colon, 218. Mark Burley with 214 career wins. This is his 16th season. Career start number 493, excuse me.
Consecutive. Never been on the disabled list.
Base hit to right. Bautista gets to it quickly. They'll stop Matuk at third. The bases are loaded. Cabrera going to right, same way that Longoria took Burley.
Well, whenever you fall behind hitters, as a hitter, you become very confident. You can just look for the ball. You don't have to guess what kind of pitch they're going to throw you. You can just sit on one pitch, and that's what the last two batters have done. Longoria and now Cabrera, same type of pitch away. He sees it, and he just takes advantage again of that right side and shoots it to the outfield.
Steven Souza Jr. He had a big at bat in the ninth inning. He took a walk from Roberto Osuna. .215 for the season for the rookie. 16 home runs, .225 average, 16 homers and 40 driven in. Mark Burley looking for a ground ball right here. There he gets the call.
Russell really pulled that one into the strike zone, didn't he? Really accentuated that pitch on the corner.
Burley is the active innings leader, coming into this game with 3,282 and 2/3. That's going to be foul. Bounces on the warning track and up into the seats. No matter how many games Mark's wife has seen, there's still the excitement and certainly the tension that goes with it. One and two. Right now, Ryan Goins is pleading.
Yes.
Hit it to me.
Hit it to me. Give me a ground ball. Let me get my pitcher out of this.
Goins charged with an error to start the inning. There's a little broken bat off the glove of Encarnacion, and all hands are going to be safe. Edwin got a glove on it. Matuk comes in to score. And that ball was way down the handle, just barely able to put it in play with Souza.
Catchable ball for sure. Edwin just can't bring it in. If he doesn't touch it, they're going to get an out somewhere because Ryan Goins was right behind him, backing him up. He stalls off Souza. This ball is barely hit out there. You can see Edwin just off the tip of his glove, and right now Tampa Bay Rays are hitting balls, and there's the reaction on his wife. Come on, boys. Help him out.
This is popped up. Donaldson's got room in foul territory. He makes the catch, and Loney's retired on one pitch. They're now marked with 2 outs. Bases remain loaded, and Tim Beckham Jr. Ryan Chapera starts to loosen up for the Blue Jays. John Givens thought long and hard about this decision to start Burley, but he, in the end, decided it was the right thing to do.
Said he owed it to him for the great career that he has had. He hasn't pitched poorly. Blue Jays have a couple of errors behind him. He should be out of the inning. Here's that hit one more time where the ball off of Edwin. He goes up, and it actually hit his bare hand. It did not hit his glove hand, and bounced far enough away from him that he could not record it out at any of the bases. Call that one.
2-1. In an effort to play good defense, the Blue Jays infield has committed a couple of errors. Goins and Encarnacion, Edwin's 3rd error of the season. 3-1 now, 2 outs. Burley walks in a run. Longoria comes down from third. This is a tough situation for John Givens. Burley, like Pat said, has been victimized by a couple of errors in this inning.
Yeah, that's the hard part about all this is he's thrown 30 pitches in the first inning, a couple of errors. Guys behind him. That's a little tight strike zone behind home plate.
Joey Butler, number 8 hitter. Mark misses with that first pitch. Ball and a strike. 32 pitches thrown by Burley here in the first. Obviously no concern about his next start. Just want him to get through these 2 innings.
Rays hitters are showing some patience now. A couple of close pitches that they've been taking them.
Butler fouls it up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 runs in here in the first inning. The Blue Jays have committed 2 errors. Tampa Bay has 2 hits and a walk. Really thought that was strike 3, and Alfonso Marquez just won't give him that pitch.
Yeah.
Marquez saying it's inside. He's getting the gears from the bench.
And he should.
Fly ball to center. Pilar on the run, at the track, at the wall. This ball is gone. A grand slam home run for Joey Butler. Dane Johnson out to talk to Mark Burley, and I'm sure he's asking him how he feels. He's thrown 36 pitches, and they just want to make sure that he's okay. Allows him to continue. 6-0 Tampa Bay. It's the first grand slam for the Rays all season long.
Cutter out over the plate. You can see they wanted that ball inside one more time to Butler. Stays out over the plate.
Luke Maile, the catcher. Oh, and 2, of course, for Butler. That's his first career grand slam. Part of a 6-run inning. Russell Martin and Alfonso Marquez having an argument now, and Martin says check with the umpire. Marquez said, I'm not checking with the first base umpire. I saw it all the way. He said, all I want you to do is to check. So Martin's standing up for his pitcher. There's that ball into the alley in left center, and Rivera's going to have to play it off the wall. Bailey's at second. And the Rays have a bat-around inning here in the first against Mark Burley. The fourth hit. Back to the top of the order. Brandon Guyer got it all started. He reached on an error by Ryan Goins to start the inning. Line drive. Ben Revere will play it on a hop, and another run's going to come in as Bailey comes in to score. Luke Mailey scores from second. And now, unfortunately, John Gibbons is going to have to take Mark Burley out of this game. This is not what the Blue Jays were hoping for.
Not at all. You know, they were hoping for a couple of quick innings and then turn it over to the bullpen, but this is the way it's going to be. Nobody feels bad except those teammates right there couldn't help him. But what a career for Mark Burley.
Certainly not what he had hoped for here this afternoon. Burley leaves with just 2 outs in the first, and has to be a disappointment for his family and for Mark Burley as well. Of an inning, Tampa Bay scores 7 runs on 5 hits, including a grand slam by Joey Butler, and you can see everybody disappointed in that dugout. And Mark Burley appreciative of the opportunity, but it certainly didn't go the way he and John Gibbons had hoped it would.
That's a tough situation for Gibby. You know, if you don't do it and he doesn't get it, then he'll catch heat, and then he does it and sends him out there and gets the start, and you're hoping 1, 2, 3 innings, just 2 of them, but it wasn't to be for him. So now Ryan Tepera is going to take over. 31 games this season for Tepera. He's 0-2 with a .313 earned run average. He has shown a lot, I think, to the Blue Jays. It really is first action in the major leagues this season. He's shown that he's a big league pitcher.
Well, he has an important assignment today, and that's to further his cause for making a postseason roster. The Blue Jays won't set their postseason roster until the morning of the 8th, Thursday, and they have to submit their roster for the division series. It's one thing Alex Anthopoulos, the GM, talked about when the manager, coaches, and the front office met to discuss the rosters. There's a few decisions to be made, and the last couple of spots in the bullpen are at stake.
So today could be a pitch off, if you will.
Well, it's the last impression for sure, and like you said, the pair has pitched well. Yana Navarro, who became very close with Burley over the last season and a half, certainly appreciative of what Mark has meant to this team and to baseball. We got fly ball deep to left field. Mikey Matchuk has hit another home run. A 2-run home run for Matchuk. Second home run of the inning for Tampa Bay.
What a start to the last game of the season for Tampa Bay. They scored 2 runs in the 9th inning yesterday to beat the Blue Jays, and now they've dropped a 9 spot on them here in inning number 1.
Tampa Bay changed their hitting philosophy about the middle of July, and they started looking for more fastballs and being aggressive in their at-bats, and it's paid off for them. They have done a great job in the second half of the season getting some offense, which has really been a problem. They hit 33 home runs in August, 36 home runs in September. And now they have homered in 14 straight games.
You know, and it makes a lot of sense for them. They don't have a lot of power. They also don't have a ton of speed. Not like those other Ray teams that could work the count, get on base, and cause havoc with their legs.
Nine nothing. Tampa Bay. Evan Longoria singled and scored his first time up. Bottom of the first. It's a fly ball to left. Revere is back, and he is there. Longoria's out will end the inning. But the Rays put up 9 runs in the bottom of the first. Have a 2-1 lead over Texas in Arlington early in that ball game. Albert Pujols with his 40th home run of the season.
So they have 2 40 home run hitters now on their team, the Los Angeles Angels. Mike Trout leading the other one.
Chris Colabello takes a strike. It's 1-1 to Colabello. Chris is the DH here this afternoon. One and two. Breaking ball inside for a ball. Lots going on in baseball, obviously, with all of the games starting at 3 Eastern time, which I think is a stroke of genius for baseball. Nobody has a competitive edge as all of the games begin approximately the same time. That way, if you're in the East Coast and your game is being played and somebody on the West Coast can hold out a pitcher.
Absolutely.
They can't have any of that today.
It's brilliant. There was one game that's already played. Atlanta got to play, and Shelby Miller ended his streak.
Picked up a win.
24 start winless drought over.
Shelby Miller finishes up 6-17 with a 3.02 earned run average.
3.02 earned run average, and he lost 17 games.
3-2 to Colabello. Blue Jays hitting here in the top of the second. It's popped up. That's going to be playable. James Loney out. Tim Beckham, the second baseman, comes over. Loney makes the catch in foul line. 1 down. Russell Martin will stroll to the plate.
Catcher, number 55, Russell Martin.
Russell Martin and Alfonso Marquez had a brief discussion after a check swing. Martin asked him to check it out, and Alfonso said, I saw it all the way. I didn't need any help.
He's just doing that for his pitcher, right? He's trying to help him out through that first inning. He knew that he was struggling a bit. Wanted some of those calls.
Russell Martin, a terrific first season with the Blue Jays, a career high 23 home runs. He's driven in 77 runs. He's also caught 38.4% of the base runners. The Blue Jays went from 28th last year in the major leagues at caught stealing to first. Both Martin and Navarro have had great seasons defensively, throwing out base runners.
25 for 65. Russell has thrown out this season. He made a couple of throws early in the season. You and I were like amazed because we just haven't seen that over the last few seasons, and it would shut down running games, and it would shut down the offense of the opposition.
Yeah, Russell's very athletic behind the plate. He gets himself into a throwing position before he catches the ball. Ball in the dirt. Full count.
And it wasn't like he was throwing out the slowest guys on either team, right? I mean, he got some good ones. He got, remember Jacoby Ellsbury early in the season, Mookie Betts, some of the faster players in the American League.
Full count to Russell Martin. Troy Tulowitzki is on deck. Back. Martin has a pair of home runs against Matt Moore. He is 3 for 5, going head to head with the Rays lefty. He'll take ball 4. Mark Burley, starting on 1 day's rest, ends up with the shortest start of his career. Goes just 2/3 of an inning, 5 hits, no earned runs. He gave up 8 runs, but none earned because of the 2 errors in the field, and certainly not exactly what he had hoped for in his final start of the season. His previous low in innings pitched in the start, April 5th of 2007 against the Cleveland Indians. He went an inning and a third.
Well, that is really unfortunate because to me it looked like he was going to do it, but the fielding in the first inning really set him back.
Troy Tulowitzki facing Matt Moore for the first time in a regular season. And we mentioned that because Tulowitzki faced Matt Moore in the 2013 All-Star game. Moore had a terrific first half of that season, was named the All-Star. This has popped up. Second baseman Tim Beckham over toward his normal position makes the catch.
The all-new 2016 Honda Pilot, proud partner and official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Kevin Pillar finishing up, swinging a hot bat. He's got a 9-game hit streak. 20 for 36 over the course of those 9 games. That's smoking hot. Average up to 278.
Sometimes it'll start with a little blooper, and he got a couple of bloops against the New York Yankees. Their best relief pitchers, Dellin Betances and Andrew Miller, and those type of hits can just give you confidence. You look at the box score the next day and you see a 2 for 4. You come to the ballpark, you feel good, you get another 2 for 4, and pretty soon that batting average starts climbing, and that's exactly what's happened with Kevin's batting average. That batting average at the start of play today just a shade under 280. And he has played every day.
Every single day, and you know what? I think that has a lot to do with his success because he never worried about getting hits in a particular game so he could play the next day. He knew he was going to play, and that helps your mindset.
That allows him a chance to relax and to get into the batting cage and do some extra work. You can tinker with some things. You can try certain things to see if that works when you know that you're going to be playing every single day.
Another base hit for Pillar. That'll extend his streak to 10 straight to wrap up the regular season. He'll carry that hit streak into the 2016 season.
Second baseman.
You know what he's doing now is he's not going out and getting the ball. He's letting the ball come to him. Early in the season, he would go out and try and meet the ball. Look at him now. He just picks the foot up, stays back, lets the ball come to him, and then starts his swing. Look at the head. Barely moves at all. The body stays still. It's a good piece of hitting.
Kevin hit 181 for the month of May. He was 19 for 105, and that's when he went to see the hit doctor.
And he cured him.
Ryan Goins with 2 outs and 2 on. Ryan's had a terrific full season. Filling in for the injured Tulowitzki of late. Initially for the injured second baseman Devin Travis.
He has faced a lot of left-handers that you and I were talking about. I had a chance to sit down with Brooke Jacoby today, and I was asking him about Ryan Goins, and he said, you know, he's hitting over 300 against curveballs, and he's also hitting over 300 against sliders. So lefties have tried to throw breaking balls to him over the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks or so, and he has handled the breaking ball from the lefty. I said, well, what was your advice to him? He says, don't forget about the fastball, because pitchers are going to see that, the opposition, and they're going to game plan and say, hey, this guy's hitting breaking balls off of left-handers. He said, be ready for that fastball.
There's a fastball that he pops up into center. Machuk is there, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays strand a pair of base runners, a walk and a single. We'll go to the bottom of the second. It's all Tampa Bay early on.
From anywhere. Subscribe for the 2015-16 season before October the 6th to get the early bird rate of $179.99 and get started at Rogers.com/NHL. Guys, there's been a lot of talk from fans as to why did John Gibbons just not leave him in there since they feel, it's a 9-0 game anyways. I've spoken to Mark Burley about this in the days leading up to it, and he told me, first of all, he didn't want to do this by coming in relief. He wanted to do it by starting. And secondly, he also doesn't want to do it at the expense of the team where it becomes so much of an embarrassment. I'm sure he was more than agreeable to come out of the game in that situation.
I agree with you 100%. And Mark Burley is all about baseball and protecting the integrity of baseball. And I think he just felt like, hey, you know what? I wasn't missing any bats. And, yeah, the 2 errors factored in. He didn't give up an earned run. But I don't think he would have wanted to stay out there and just put the fate in the hands of the Rays hitters at that point.
Well, I think then the record becomes hollow. Right?
Yeah. I agree. If he gives up, 12, 13 runs in 2 innings, what's the point?
Yeah. You want to do it and feel good about it. I'm glad they did it. They had a chance to do it. That John Gibbons and the Blue Jays organization gave him the chance to do that, because if they didn't, he's sitting back home 5 years from now thinking, gosh, I wish I would have fought harder to try and get those 2 innings. So they tried it. They failed. That happens.
Ryan Tepera pitching to Asdrubal Cabrera, 1-2 now to the shortstop. There's a lot going on in baseball, and today another milestone has been reached by Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers lefty. He has 6 strikeouts through 3 1/3. That gives him 300 strikeouts for the season. And Pat, this is something the Dodger fans have been used to, but it hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah, try 50 years. It hasn't happened. Clayton Kershaw becomes the first Dodger pitcher to strike out 300 batters since Sandy Koufax in 1966. The player that Kershaw is compared to, Sandy Koufax.
Koufax had 300 strikeouts in 3 different seasons. The last major leaguers to have 300 strikeouts in a season, Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson, both in 2002. So it's a tremendous milestone for Clayton Kershaw to rack up 300 Ks in a single season.
I think there's a couple of reasons why. We haven't seen one since 2002. Ball on the ground to Edwin for the out. Starters are not sticking around long enough to rack up the strikeouts. A lot of them start getting pulled after 100 pitches. You got to throw a lot of pitches to get 300 strikeouts.
Remember, not too many starts ago, Clayton Kershaw and Don Mattingly got into it in the dugout because Mattingly was taking him out of the game early after 5 innings, and Kershaw put up quite a stink, and the Dodgers came back and won that game. But today, 3 1/3, 1 hit, no walks, 6 strikeouts so far against San Diego.
And he's only going to pitch how many innings today?
Yeah, 3 or 4, they said, as he gets ready for the postseason. But it's appropriate. He knew he was only going to be out there for 3 or 4 innings, so he struck out 6 quick.
He had a curveball working the other day when he struck out, I believe, something like 15 strikeouts the other day. Now, let's put that 300 strikeouts in perspective. He's a long way away from the major league record for strikeouts in a season.
What is it, 383?
383 by Sandy Koufax. 383 strikeouts. Oh, excuse me. Nolan Ryan beat Sandy Koufax's record. Sandy Koufax had it at 382, and it was Nolan Ryan with 383.
Koufax struck out 382 in 65. And then Ryan passed that mark. It's hard to fathom if Nolan Ryan was capable of doing that. He had his big strikeout season in 1973 while pitching for the Angels.
That 382 is a Dodger record, not a major league record. 382 is nothing to sneeze at. Kershaw has 300, and he's a long way away from the Dodger record and the major league record.
Of course, Nolan Ryan threw 326 innings when he had those strikeouts. That won't happen again. Steven Souza Jr. takes it inside. It's a full count. (3-2) to Souza. This is popped up and kind of shown going back. Second baseman Goins calls him off. Makes a catch in fair territory. Let's check in with Jamie Kim. A lot going on in baseball today.
First baseman, James Loney.
Well, if the scores hold up, obviously Kansas City would win the best record in the American League and have the home field advantage. Of course, they will have it in the division series, as will the Blue Jays. James Loney popped out to the third baseman his first time.
But there's still way more to be decided today when it comes to the Blue Jays, who they're going to play and when they're where they're going to, well, we know where they're going to play, who they're going to play, and that could get dicey.
Texas and Houston are a game apart for the lead in the AL West. Texas currently behind the Angels 2-1. Houston is tied with Arizona 1-1 in the bottom of the third. So if Texas and Houston tie, they will play off for the division. Then the wild card.
Yeah, that's just to see who's going to win the division.
Yeah. The Angels are a game back of Houston. And New York, of course, the wild card race, they have clinched their spot. The only thing left to be determined is whether or not New York plays on the road or at home. And the Yankees are currently trailing the Orioles 2-1. There's a little flare off the bat of James Loney. That ball got in on his hands, and he was able to fight it off. A 2-out single down the left field line.
Those are a thing of beauty when you hit them like that. That's how you end up hitting 300. You got to get those type of hits in there. Sold off, you get beat by a good fastball from Tepera, and you hit it where nobody can catch it. This ball inside. Jam sandwich, and he throws it down the left field line for a base hit.
Yeah, those are a thing of beauty if you're a hitter.
That's where I'm speaking from. I'm not speaking from as a pitcher or a catcher.
Everybody in the Blue Jays dugout screaming, hit it like a man. The pair delivers a first pitch strike to Tim Beckham Jr. He had a bases loaded walk his first time up. There are so many ramifications going on in the American League. Houston Angels, they could tie for the final wild card spot if the Astros lose and the Angels win.
And then there would be a playoff for that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
One game tiebreaker would be played in Houston on Monday. Winner of that game would face New York. Yet to be determined where they would play that game.
That's right.
Houston can force a one-game tiebreaker to decide the division if they beat Arizona and Texas loses.
And that would knock the Los Angeles Angels out, right?
No, because if Texas loses, the Angels beat them. This is popped up Encarnacion in foul territory, waits for it and makes the catch. The Rays are done in their half of the second. We'll go to the third. 9-0 Tampa Bay.
Presented by the all-new 2016 Honda Pilot, proud partner and official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That is Tropicana Field. We are in St. Petersburg, Florida, the final game of the regular season 2015 for the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays have dug themselves a deep hole. They trailed 9-0 to Tampa Bay. Ben Revere had a leadoff single in the first. He was caught stealing third, thrown out by the catcher Luke Maile. Part of a strike him out, throw him out, double play to end the first, and he bounces this one right back to the mound. After this half inning, there's a great story we're going to show you after this inning is over during the commercial break. The Blue Jays, part of a 22 Days with the Jays contest in Rogers Sportsnet. And they selected contestants over the course of those 22 days, and they wrote about their Blue Jays and how they enjoyed following them. And I had a chance to meet one of the winners, Charlie Hurley, a terrific Blue Jay fan. And I got to meet Charlie and his mom Karen, and the entire family was present at the Rogers Center for the final game of the season. And Charlie is a great fan, and he happened to be a Buck Martinez fan. So I got a chance to say hello to him, and he has done a great job of copying my home run call. And he did his home run call for me when I met him in the booth in the suite at Rogers Center, and he was a terrific fan. I really had a good time saying hello to him and some of the other contestants. But it was a terrific contest, and it culminated with a great visit to Rogers Center on the final day of the season.
You were beaming about that when you got back to the booth, about who you had just met and what how he was able to replicate your home run call. He said, you got to see this. You got to hear this. It's unbelievable. So can't wait to hear about this.
Charlie Hurley, a terrific Blue Jays fan. We spent some time with him at Rogers Center. So stay tuned after this half inning. 2 outs, Matt Moore to Jose Bautista. Bautista taking all the way.
Couple of defensive changes for Tampa Bay. Nick Franklin is now playing second base. Asdrubal Cabrera is out of the game. Tim Beckham has moved over to play shortstop. Last day of the season, you'll see these types of moves, I think, all afternoon long, as both managers try to get their players into the ball game for the one final time.
Kevin Cash in his first season, along with his bench coach Tom Foley and the pitching coach Jim Hickey. Cash certainly probably talking about the rest of the afternoon for the pitchers, as we want to finish up on a positive note. As we mentioned, Kevin in his first season, and by his own admission, he said we got a lot of work to do. Obviously, the Rays 79 and 82 at the start of play.
Well, plus, you want to get guys into the game. You're up 9-0. It's really a meaningless game for me, for Tampa Bay. So the last thing you want to do is just keep guys sitting on that bench. You want to get them into the ball game, get them in that bat or so.
Yeah, certainly want to get everybody involved that you can. And they were looking at those matchup sheets to see if there were some favorable matchups for his players. It's 9-0, and certainly send a bad message to a player if you're sitting on the bench thinking, I can't play in a 9-0 game.
That's my point right there. What's he going to say to himself when he goes back in that locker room and takes the uniform off?
Bautista fouls it back to the screen. It's a 3-2 count with 2 outs. Edwin Encarnacion waiting on deck. Edwin struck out his first time up. Bautista has walked for a second time this afternoon. So that'll bring Edwin Encarnacion to the plate.
Number 10, Edwin.
It's hard enough hitting home runs in the majors, but it's extremely difficult when you're trying to hit one. And Edwin, he's perched on 39 home runs. He's had a 42 homer season.
He's going to have to keep reminding himself, stay short to the ball, get a good pitch to hit, don't try and overswing.
First pitch breaking ball.
Yeah, you start trying to hit home runs, you start lifting the ball, the swing gets a little bit longer, and the next thing you know, you're not hitting anything.
Edwin hit a 2-run homer in the 6th off Brandon Gomes yesterday. Pops this one back behind home plate. Luke Maile right at the edge of the rail, leans in and makes the catch. Maile got to the rail and made the catch to end the inning. They told you about Charlie Hurley. Now let's meet Charlie. title in the AL West. Texas playing the Angels at home. Currently the Angels lead at 2-1. Cole Hamels starting for Texas.
Drew Hutchison now into the ball game, his 30th game of the season. Hutch last pitched 3 days ago. If you remember that, he threw 1 inning in that game against the Orioles. Then the rains came, a 3.5-hour rain delay, and he was out of the game. Now he's back in here, try to finish strong with his season.
First pitch, strike to Joey Butler. Butler hit a grand slam in the first inning, his first career grand slam. Drew Hutchison, opening day starter for the Blue Jays. And he gives up a base hit. Kevin Pillar is going to have to get over to cut it off in a hurry. And what a job. He's able to keep Joey Butler to a long single with a slide and a throw back to the infield very quickly.
That ball had double written all over it by Pillar. If not for Pillar, look, he is shading Butler to right field, and Butler is thinking double all the way, but Pillar gets over there, slides, cuts the ball off, and throws it back into the infield and holds him to a single.
Kevin Pillar does not take an inning off, does not give up an at bat. And he's been fighting a long time to get his opportunity in the major leagues, and he's not going to let anybody down.
Yeah, I don't care what the score is. If it's game number 1 or 162, he's going to play the game the right way. He hustled over there, and he kept the fast runner from getting into scoring position. Double. That ball looked like a double all the way.
Encarnacion steps on the bag and throws to second. Tulowitzki tags out Butler. And because of that Pillar play, they get the double play. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell.
Number 5, Brandon Guyer.
That's very interesting, Jamie. The Orioles have taken the first 2 games of this 3-game series. And the Yankees went down there, and the Yankees have made the announcement that Masahiro Tanaka will pitch on Tuesday in that wild card game. But yeah, they were anticipating, and they had a grip on home field advantage, but it slipped through their fingers. And it's much more dramatic in a 1-game scenario than it might be for the Blue Jays in the ALCS, which is 7 games.
And that's what they were talking about. If they lose that game, and Houston and Texas are the 2 teams, one's the division winner, one's the wild card, Yankees have to go on the road to play that. That looked like it was all but wrapped up, that the Yankees were going to host that wild card game. They might have to go on the road now.
You just can never count on anything until it's all said and done. Cole Hamels, he was picked up by the Rangers in that July trade deadline period. He has gone 6-1 with the Rangers with a .386 earned run average. Garrett Richards starting for the Angels. This is his first career start on 3 days rest. But obviously unusual times call for unusual measures. Brandon Guyer ducks back from that inside pitch. Guyer was hit by a pitch 3 times yesterday by Mark Burley. First time Burley has hit 3 batters in 1 game in his career.
Guyer never moved on any of those 3. He just stood right there when Burley hit him. That time he's going to duck away from a fastball.
There's a fly ball into shallow right. Bautista coming in, and the inning is over. It turns into an easy inning because of a fine effort by Kevin Pillar in center. They get a double play.
Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on more than 400 devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Every night on every device. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. What a great day, Buck, to be following on MLB Premium. So many games that will have an effect on whom the Blue Jays may play in the ALDS.
There sure are a lot of games that have interest for Blue Jay fans and for baseball fans in general. And there's a batting title on the line today as well. Dee Gordon and Bryce Harper started play tied today.
D's 3 for 3 to start that ball game.
He has 205 hits now. So that's really an interesting scenario for the National League. Going into play, Dee Gordon was 202 for 611. 3 hits give him 205. Bryce Harper has missed a lot of time. He has nearly 100 fewer at-bats than Dee Gordon. As Colabello pops this one into the seats down the right side.
So it looks like D in the National League and Miguel Cabrera for the 4th time in 5 years in the American League, huh? Batting title?
4th time in 5 years, and he's the first major leaguer since Tony Gwynn to collect 4 batting titles over a 5-year span. As Gwynn won 8 batting titles over 14 years from 84 to 97. And he won 4 in a row with San Diego, 94 through 97, the late Tony Gwynn. Terrific hitter, and Cabrera is right there. Your Cincinnati Reds, they snapped a 13-game losing streak yesterday.
Yeah. Joey Votto had a streak snap too, didn't he?
He sure did. 48 games in a row he had reached base, and that ties him with Pete Rose for the club record.
1978, that was when Pete had that long hitting streak, 44-game hit streak.
2-2 to Colabello. Swinging a drive to left. Wendigeyer is there. This ball is gone. Colabello with his 15th home run of the season. And a nice little round number for Colabello, capping off a terrific season.
Matches the number on that jersey as he makes his way around the bases. He was kind of giving us the raspberries before the game today about the ball he hit here on Friday night. He said, that ball, I can't hit a ball any better than I did. And it hit that second ring. It should have been a home run, but he got a triple out of it. This time he makes no mistake. He crushes that ball on a line to left field for home run number 15.
Yeah, he said he hit that high fly ball as hard as any home run he's hit this season. It just happened to hit the ring high above the field and land in fair territory.
Well, there's no doubt about this one. A little four-seam fastball. Chris gets all of it to left field. Yeah, in his mind, he said when he was standing at third base, he goes, that's 15. I know it's 15. Well, today he gets 15. He can get into his home run trot after that swing.
Blue Jays have 6 players with 15 or more home runs this year. Also, Martin bounces it to Nick Franklin. Makes a nice play of it. Nick Franklin just into the game defensively. Colabello with 15 home runs and 54 RBIs. We put his numbers together with Justin Smoke over at first. It's an impressive tandem. They have now combined to hit 33 home runs. Terrific production.
Blue Jays offense. I was looking at it today, and this is one of the best offenses I have ever seen. They are either first or second in batting average and runs, total bases, doubles, home runs, grand slams, RBIs, sacrifice flies, walks, slugging percentage, on base percentage. They've been caught the fewest times stealing, and they have the fewest shutouts. They have been shut out the fewest times. I mean, it's an offense for the ages, if you will.
And they've scored 889 runs now with the Colabello home run. Their franchise record in runs scored 894. That was set in 2003. On the offensive all-time franchise ranks home runs, they are third in franchise history, 231. And runs we mentioned. OPS fifth at 796, and stolen base percentage, a dramatic improvement. They are second in franchise history, stealing 80% of bases.
They've only been thrown out 22 times all season long. Kevin Pillar just got caught for the 4th time here in yesterday's game.
Tim Leeper, the first base coach, needs to get a lot of credit for that. He works long and hard on breaking down pitchers' deliveries, their release times. He carries a stopwatch with him. He will do his homework before the game. Once he gets over the coach's box, he'll come over and give advice to the base runners.
He doesn't roll in here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock game. He's here at 11, 12 o'clock, poring over tapes, looking for some kind of advantage for the Blue Jay base runners. Maybe a pitcher does something that tips off when he's throwing over to first base, or he tips off when he's going to go home, just to give him that edge to try and steal bases. That, along with all the timing, back and forth. The coaches here, they work so hard. It's not like the olden days, you know. There's so much more information out there for these coaches to put the time in, and they do.
Well, when I came up to the major leagues in 1969, the coaches would hit fungos and throw batting practice, and you had to figure everything out for yourself. Now the coaches are there to help you. They're like professors of their particular subject. Kevin Pillar hanging tough.
But it's the information that's out there. There is so much information that you can pour over and look at it to try and find trying to find some kind of statistical advantage.
And I think the real beauty of a manager and a coach in this day and age is to make sure you don't overwhelm your players with too much information. Give them things they can understand and break it down. You serve as a translator, if you will.
Yeah, you still have to go out there and play the game of baseball. And on that is a lot of time, it's reactionary. You don't have time to think about, okay, let's see, if I hit this ball here, 47% of the time he throws the ball here, you know, that kind of thing. It's a reactionary game. But you do have all the statistics to put a game plan together.
Kevin Pillar is on everything Matt Moore is throwing up there. Kevin extended his hit streak to 10 straight with a single in the second inning. Matt Moore wins that battle. He strikes out Kevin Pillar. Gives up a home run. Chris Colabello connects for his 15th of the season. That is still early in the ball game, but the Angels could get knocked out of everything today.
Yeah, they could win the game and miss the playoffs if Houston wins tonight. So LA has to win to give themselves a chance, and then hope that Houston loses this afternoon, and then they would play each other for the wild card.
Arizona is ahead of Houston. Top of the 5th in Arizona. Drew Hutchison working his second inning of relief. Maki Matsuk. He homered and reached on a fielder's choice. He hit the home run off Ryan Tepera in the first inning. Second of 2 first inning home runs. Matuk has worn out the Blue Jays this year. He has hit his first big league home run. He has 3 home runs against Mark Burley and hit another home run here today against Ryan Tepera. Kevin Kiermaier, the regular center fielder, has been dealing with a bad back, and he was taken out of the game yesterday because of that back issue. This is popped up and over near the Rays dugout, and that's going to be behind the dugout. Out of play.
We didn't see Mikey Matuk at the beginning of the season. He got called up after the Blue Jays played him the first couple of times. He's only played 6 games against the Blue Jays this year. But he's had 4 hits now, 5 hits. He had 7 RBIs coming into this game right here. Got a home run. So that goes up.
Full count. Matuk leading off the 4th for Tampa Bay. (9-1) for the Rays. They scored 9 runs in the first inning. 8 of those 9 runs off of Mark Burley, and they were all unearned runs. Ryan Tepera gave up a home run. Tepera worked an inning in the 3rd, 2 hits. A run, that home run by Mikey Matsuk. Fly ball to right. Bautista over toward the line. He'll get there and make the catch. 1 down here in the 4th.
The all-new 2016 Honda Pilot, proud partner and official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Richie Schaefer will come off the bench and bat for Evan Longoria here in the 4th inning. Longoria will finish his season 1 for 2 with the runs scored. We have been pleased to have another great season all year long, and we're certainly propped up by our technical crew, one of the best in the business in my estimation. There's a drive to left. Kevin Pillar has a bead on it. He calls for it. Revere gets out of the way. But Pat and I get all the attention because we're the ones you hear all the time. And you see us once in a while on television, but we have one of the best cameramen in the business, in my mind, in Chris Dahl, and he spends a lot of time up there at high first, and there's not a bigger Pittsburgh Pirate fan in the world than Chris Dahl. And Chris, we want to thank you for all your great service over the years. Chris and I have spent a few days watching Blue Jay games over the seasons, and it's been a real treat to have him part of the crew, and a big part of it for sure.
He's scoreboard watching today, isn't he? His Pittsburgh Pirates, because he's from Pittsburgh.
Yes, he is. 2 down. Brian Franklin came in the game as a defensive replacement. He pops this one into left. Ben Revere coming in, gets there and makes the out. We will head to the fifth. Tampa Bay has a 9-1 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
You can pick up the 2015 Authentic Collection Postseason Game Cap by New Era at BlueJayShop.ca today. It has that postseason patch on the left side of the cap, and all those on-field caps are made with enhanced performance fabrics, sweatbands, and undervisors. Visit us online at jshop.ca. Buck.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And you can bet those caps will be flying off the shelf, so make sure you log on. And from coast to coast, whether it's Newfoundland or BC, people are going to want to get those postseason baseball caps from New Era. We move to the top of the fifth. Brian Goins, number 9 hitter. He will lead things on. Look out, Rhino. They want to continue to acknowledge our great technical staff that supports us all throughout the season here at Sportsnet, bringing you the Blue Jays games in the truck. One of the best EVS operators in the business, in my mind, is Mike Sparks, who understands the game of baseball. And he helps us out with all the replays, and you get the replays instantaneously because Mike knows exactly what he's looking for.
He makes us look good, doesn't he? He
Sure
makes
does.
me look good. Thank you, Sparky.
Sparky does a great job, and we don't hold it against him that he, too, is a big Tiger fan. We have our daily discussion about the Blue Jays and Tigers, the history of those two teams. Jeff Whipple sits in that truck as well. He's the duet operator, and he puts all those great numbers on the board, and does such a terrific job for us. And he, too, is a great baseball fan. All of these guys, they know they're part of the show, but they understand the game of baseball, and it's a pleasure to work with all of them. The guy that cuts the pictures, he's called the technical director, and Tom Clark, RTD, is one of the best. He works a lot of baseball games, and he's a joy to be around. He's been with us for a long time, too, Pat.
Too long to remember. I know when I first met Tom, he had hair. Now he doesn't. That's how long it's been.
That's a long, long time. That's a fair ball. That took a funny bounce and stayed fair up the first baseline. But Tom Clark is one of the real joys to be around. He makes everything fun every time we get together every day. We've got two of the best directors in the baseball business. Troy Clara is the director of baseball. Baseball is probably the toughest sport in all the major sports to cut because you never know where it's going to take you. Most of the other sports tell you which direction you're headed and where you're going. Baseball is not like that at all, and Troy Clara does a great job, and I know it was a big sacrifice for him to give up hockey, but I think we've created a baseball fan for sure. He is picked up from time to time by Jeff Mather, and Jeff's been around the Blue Jays for a long time as well. He's another director that understands the game and adds a lot to the show each time he sits in the chair. Ben Revere drives this to center field. Patrick is there. The producers, those are the fellas that create the game stories, and every day, 162 games, we try to come up with a new story, and we are helped out dramatically by our producers. The lead producer is Doug Walton, who does a great job. Shaky Walton is always there for us, coming up with ideas, and he is open to change, Pat. This week, from time to time, will suggest we go in a different direction, and he is never one to balk at those suggestions. Doug does most of the producing, and when he is out of the lineup, Rick Briggs Jude steps in, and he has been a long-time TV truck guy, and he's done a great job. And personally, for me, he's helped me throughout my career, going back to my first days in the business. So we want to thank all of those guys down in the truck for doing such a great job.
That's a tough part of the job, is coming up with a game story every single day. I don't know how the guys do it. You know, if they left it up to you and me, I don't know.
Now, here we are at the ballpark, and let's go.
Here's the first pitch.
Josh Donaldson is behind 0-2. And he strikes out, gets a piece of it. But the Blue Jays go down quietly in their half of the fifth.
$120 on NHL merchandise at any Sport Jet location and receive a free trial of Rogers NHL Game Center Live. Visit Rogers.com/NHL/SportCheck for details. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And we want to thank Barry Davis for all of his help throughout the course of the season. He gives us an awful lot of help and bringing us all those updates, and certainly helps me out a lot. We want to thank Barry for everything he does to contribute to this show. He contributes to our show, and then, of course, gives the great interviews that are utilized throughout the 24-hour news portion of Sportsnet. Troy Tulowitzki's got something in his eye, and George Poulos is out to help him. And you can see he's going to try to dig it out of there. There are a lot of particles of rubber and sand on this artificial surface here, and he's got something in there that obviously Poulos can see, and now he's trying to dig it out.
Wash it out, huh?
It must be something he can see, because he's trying to grab it.
That's got to be a
piece of sand or rubber on this artificial surface, but he's got it. Tulo seems to be okay. So he'll go back to his position at short. Good to see him back in the lineup. He's played 2 of these 3 games here.
Played, then off, and then played. His baseball IQ is way up there, isn't it?
How about that conversation we had today? Talking about the Texas Rangers. Now, the Rangers used their closer, Sean Tollison, 5 straight days in that game yesterday, was his 5th straight. And he chimed in. You know who's the best in the National League at handling pitchers? Bruce Bochy. They're never tired, and they pitch all the time. But he was up on Bochy and how he handles his bullpen. And yeah, he's a baseball rat, that's for sure. It's going to be a base hit for Steven Souza Jr. We certainly don't want to forget the support we get back at the studio from Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn throughout their season at Blue Jays Central. They keep us up to date on everything going around baseball, and they're a big part of this show. And you're going to see them in the postseason, so make sure you stay tuned with Sportsnet. Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn, a host of others will be involved in the postseason coverage, and they'll break all the games down, give you a preview of what's about to happen. So make sure you check out Sportsnet throughout the entire postseason.
Like Barry, they're everyday players, aren't they?
Every day.
Every day we get to hear them.
Souza is at first. This is James Loney. He had a bloop single down the left field line his last time up. Of course, we could not do this job with our partner here up in the broadcast booth, the great Scott Carson. He is the third member of the Wolf Pack, if you will. Yeah. And Scott keeps us up to date on everything Blue Jays. And whenever there's a record or a special accomplishment, Scott Carson's right there with the information to pass it along to us.
23 straight years?
23 years in the booth ever since '93, your first season.
23.
So he is enjoying this as well. Scott Carson with us all the time. We have a lot of fun too, don't you know? We're always talking baseball up here. We have a lot of laughs and we spend a lot of time together. So Scotty, it's been another great year, and thank you for all your support. And Pat, you too. It's been great working with you again. What, this is our 6th year together?
6th year together. I've known you for a long time.
And we're still friends.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, folks, we want to thank all of you out there for supporting us so well throughout the course of the season. You know, sometimes there's some down times, there's some games that aren't so much fun, but you have supported us loyally throughout the entire season, and it's been a great ride, and we want to thank the fans.
I'll tell you, I'd like to have a nickel for every time a fan came up to us and said, hey, we watch you guys every night. We're from here or wherever, as that ball gets away from Russell Martin. Just proving that fans all over Canada have been turned on by the Blue Jays.
And we really enjoy it when we hear from fans and they come up to us and say, I'm from Moose Jaw. I'm from Red Deer. I'm from Halifax. They tell us where they're from, and they take so much pride in being from all over the country and supporting the Blue Jays so well. Russell Martin out to talk to Drew Hutchison, trying to help him out here. Blue Jays trailed 9-1. The Blue Jays, of course, they have solidified their position, and they will open up Thursday in Toronto, and they have not yet identified who they're going to play, nor when they will play. Times will be set by baseball according to the matchups. Loney covers that outside pitch and fouls it up.
There's 2 games that day. 2 American League Division Series start on Thursday. So I'm sure there'll be one in prime time and one in the afternoon sometime.
The wild card game will take place Tuesday, and all those games can be seen on the Sportsnet. So the wild card game will take place Tuesday, and then the winner of that game will advance to play the #1 seed. That's passed in Encarnacion into right. Bautista will come up throwing. First and third, nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you very much. And obviously we know who's going to play in that game. It's going to be the Cubs and the Pirates. And how about that pitching matchup for game one? I don't care where they play it.
Jake Arrieta versus Garrett Cole. Wow.
Two of the best in the business going head to head. A win or go home situation. And certainly that will be an exciting game to watch. And that game will take place on Wednesday. Of course, that's Chris Dahl's shot. He's got the old pillbox hat from the 70s of the Pirates. Looks like that gentleman has some autographs on it as well. Boy, that's the Willie Stargell, Rennie Stennett, Kent Ticovey hat of the 70s. The Buccos, we are family.
You know, it's really rare what has happened in the National League with the Pirates and the Cubs and the Cardinals.
3 division members into the postseason.
With the best records, the top 3 records in the National League. It doesn't happen very often. Normally there's a team in another division who might have more wins, but the teams with the top 3 wins and winning percentage all in the same division. So after the first round of the playoffs, 2 of them are going to be gone.
Tim Beckham now at shortstop. He takes his strike. 1-2. Yeah, it's been a terrific season. Of course, Joe Madden, formerly of the Tampa Bay Rays, managing the Cubs in his first season.
They are winning today. So if they continue to win and Pittsburgh somehow loses to the Reds, that game will be in Chicago, that wild card game.
Cubs are up 3-1 over Milwaukee in Milwaukee. Beckham fouls it back. Houston and Arizona now tied 2-2. Texas has a 3-2 lead over the Angels as they've gone to the top of the 7th. Baltimore 5-1 over the Yankees now. Wow. And Kansas City's up 5-1 in Minnesota.
Baltimore going for the sweep of that series against the Yankees.
Now that, to me, is a tough situation. You're a wild card team. You're going into a 1-game scenario, and you get swept for the final regular season. That is a tough thing to overcome. There you see Liam Hendricks loosening up.
They know they're in. The Yankees know they're in. They just don't know now who they're playing or where they're going to play.
That ball gets away from Russell Martin, and Souza's going to come home with the 10th Rays run.
Second wild pitch of the inning by Drew Hutchison. He wild pitched Souza to second base. He moved over to third on the single to right field and now scores on another wild pitch. 10-1. That was the breaking ball and bounces it. No chance for Russell Martin to keep that one in front of him. You can see it was a slider, so when it hit the dirt, it bounced over towards the Blue Jays dugout.
Still nobody out. 2-2 count on Tim Beckham. There's a call by first base umpire Tom Halley, and he calls Beckham for the swing, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Joey Butler's had a big day. He's 2 for 2 with his first career grand slam. His grand slam came in the first inning. One and one to the Rays left fielder Joey Butler. Bryce Harper for the Nationals has gone 0 for 3 so far.
He had a slimmest of slim lead over D. Gordon for the batting title in the National League before today.
This ball is drilled to right, and it's going to get into the seats. Joey Butler with his second home run of the afternoon.
What a career day for Joey Butler. He hit a grand slam in the first inning. He singled in the third inning, and now he's got a 2-run home run. He's driven in 6 runs, and he's scored twice today.
Disappointing outing for Drew Hutchison. He will give the ball to the manager, and the Rays are putting it on the Blue Jays here on this final Sunday.
Pride and include the hashtag Come Together as well as your location in Canada. You can appear on our map of Canada located at bluejays.com/cometogether. And Buck and Tabby, you've spent the whole broadcast thanking everyone on the crew, and I'd like to thank you guys on behalf of everyone on the crew for a terrific season. This has been my first year being on the broadcast full time, and it has been an absolute treat and privilege to be able to be on with you guys each and every game, and just absolutely love the stories you guys tell, and you call a great game, and I think everyone on the crew will agree. Couldn't pick 2 better guys to work with.
Barry, thank you so much. It is fun, and we're all fortunate to do what we do because we love the game of baseball, and we get a chance to come out here every day and be around these great players in this great game. It's a real honor to be involved, that's for sure. This is Liam Hendricks working to Luke Maile, the catcher. Maile has doubled and scored. He also grounded into a double play.
I would imagine that this is a opportunity for Liam Hendricks just to get some work right now. There's just one out. Probably just finish off this inning right here. This might be where he would pitch in the playoffs. Tough situation. Maybe come in with a runner on base and strike him out. 5th inning, 6th inning, 7th inning, whatever it is. So a chance to get some work. Liam last worked in game 2 of that doubleheader in Baltimore.
71 strikeouts in 64 innings for Hendricks, and you make a great point. And for me, he can be a bridge pitcher where he comes in and gets 2 outs in 1 inning and start the next inning according to who's batting.
A right-hander or a left-hander. I think his value could be, as that ball is tapped back to the mound, his value could be if the starter gets into trouble in the 6th inning and there's runners on base and there's 1 out. We need a strikeout. This might be the guy right here.
Yeah, he has done a terrific job. He's walked only 11 all season long, and it's just been a great season for him. Of course, Mark Burley had a great season. It didn't go as he had hoped today when he started. But he was starting on 1 day's rest, and everybody was just hopeful that he'd be able to get those 2 innings that would push him to another 200-inning season. But I think you pointed it out perfectly when you said that Mark Burley will reflect on this day and be thankful for the opportunity.
The opportunity, right. I mean, there'd be nothing worse than to look back a couple of years from now and say, gosh, if I only had that chance. Well, Blue Jays gave him a chance. It didn't work out. So you can live with it, right?
A couple of real pros right there in David Price and Mark Burley. Price will open things up for the Blue Jays in their postseason run Thursday at Rogers Center. Price will go to the mound. Everybody is talking about Price and his postseason record. He is 1-5 and has not won a game as a starter in the postseason. But you can bet he's looking forward to this opportunity. And someone asked him about the other day about his postseason record. He goes, I know the numbers better than you know the numbers.
He lived it, right?
Yeah. Of course, David Price, boy, he did everything the Blue Jays hoped he would do when they acquired him. He came in and stabilized the rotation, gave them an ace, moved everybody down in the rotation, and the team responded favorably. Troy Tulowitzki throws out Brandon Geyer. Hendricks comes in and gets out of the 5th. They'll go to the 6th. 12-1 Rays. Their eye on the Texas Rangers, and Texas has taken a 3-2 lead over the Angels as they play in the bottom of the 7th.
Adrian Beltre, 2-run home run to put him up by a run.
Boy, what a second half he's
Wow.
had. We saw Beltre when he had that bad thumb and he could barely swing, but obviously the thumb's not an issue now. Texas is scoring a ton of runs in the second half of the season. To an out to Jose Bautista. Jose has walked twice. He hasn't got much to hit all afternoon. Edwin Encarnacion getting ready to follow Bautista.
Well, that might be his last chance if they decide to pull some of the starters here.
Jose walks for a third time, and that will bring Edwin Encarnacion to the plate. One of the best home run hitters in the game. When you try to get through the lineup, this is a tough part of the order.
Yeah, it's not just Edwin. It's Donaldson and Bautista and Encarnacion. They just make things so tough. You can wear out a pitcher just having to go through these guys right here. Edwin's sitting on 39 home runs. If he hits one more, that would give the Blue Jays a trio of 40 home run hitters.
There has never been a team with 340 home run hitters in the American League. It's been done 3 times in Major League history, all National League teams. The 73 Atlanta Braves, the 96 and 97 Colorado Rockies. The only teams that can boast 340 home run hitters in their lineup. The Atlanta Braves did it in 73 with Davey Johnson, Darrell Evans, and Hank Aaron. That's a pretty impressive trio. The Rockies in 96, Andres Galarraga, Ellis Burks, and Vinny Castilla. And then in 97, it was led by Canadian Larry Walker, who hit 49 home runs. Galarraga and Vinny Castillo rounding out the trio of 40 home run hitters. Well, he popped that one up. Shallow left field. Geyer coming in. Encarnacion is retired, 1 out. Now time for the drive of the game, presented by the all-new 2016 Honda Pilot, proud partner and official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
He has come up with a lot of big hits for the Blue Jays. Chris Colabello has come up with the only run the Blue Jays have been able to put on the board with this ball back in the 4th inning. It's his 15th home run, matching his number on the back of his jersey, and it's also our drive of the game. 15 home runs, 54 driven in, and look at that batting average at .320.
Colabello's most extensive opportunity in the big leagues. He gets another base hit. Bautista is going to make the turn around second, go first to third. Colabello with a 2-hit afternoon.
A little bit of surprise that they're going to play him in the shift because he can hit the ball all over the ball field. Look at the 3 infielders on the left side, the gigantic hole on the right side. Breaks his bat and just rolls it through the right side, sending Bautista to third base.
For Colabello, that's his 107th hit of the season. His previous high came last year. He had 47 hits for the Minnesota Twins in 59 games. Today, he's playing in his 101st game of the season.
You got to play him straight up, don't you?
Yeah.
He can handle the bat so well.
Russell Martin. You know, for all you fans that are worried about the impact of this game today as how it might impact the opening game of the division, don't even think about it. Blue Jays aren't going to do a thing tomorrow. No workouts, no reporting to the locker room. They'll just get the entire day off tomorrow. And then they'll go back to work on Tuesday. They'll have workouts Tuesday and Wednesday. And Wednesday will be the big media day, obviously, when the national media will converge on Rogers Center. ESPN is going to carry the division series. So they will be on ESPN, but it will be carried in Canada on Sportsnet. But the Blue Jay players, and Pat, we know this team as well as anybody, this will not have an impact. This will be forgotten by tonight.
I was reading about people worried about the Blue Jays were not playing their starters in Baltimore. They have to get the best record in the American League. You know what I say? John Gibbons has to do what's right for his team. If that means rest his regulars, if that means start Mark Burley, whatever it means, whatever it does, he's got to do what is right for his baseball team. And every situation is different. So he put those guys on the bench the other day for a couple of games. It's really just one day. They set out the second game with that one doubleheader, and then they had just really one day off before they played again on Friday. He's thinking about the big picture and what it means to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Russell Martin bounces it to Loney, makes a quick throw to second. That's a nifty double play. Loney threw it to the bag before Beckham got there, but he threw a strike. Beckham was there to convert the double play. Martin bounds into the double play. Look at Loney's throw. Beckham's not even at the bag, but they turn it quickly.
Central. Watch Canada's deepest roster of hockey experts break out the teams on the rise. They'll go in-depth and analyze every player Monday on Sportsnet. A lot of big Blue Jays fans on that Hockey Central team, including Nick Kiprios and Darren Millard. Those guys are going to have a hard time keeping their eyes on hockey when their Blue Jays are playing the same nights.
I can guarantee you, I know Nick will be watching the Blue Jays, and he'll keep his peripheral vision on the hockey games. It's early in the hockey season.
Big baseball fans. Aaron Loop now set to work again, the first time in this series that we have seen Aaron. This is his 60th game of the season. Aaron last worked on October 1st, that last day in Baltimore. He only faced one batter. That was Geraldo Parra, and if you remember that, he hit a batter. Josh Tolley now picks up Russell Martin behind the plate. Justin Smoke takes the over at first base for Edwin Encarnacion.
So Edwin will sit with 39 home runs, his second highest total. And for Pennington, he too has come off the bench. He's playing at third base in place of Josh Donaldson. Ezequiel Carrera is into the game in right field. Jonathan Diaz is into the game in left field, so the regulars getting the rest of this game off.
That's what I mean about doing what's right for your club right here. Get them off their feet. We saw the impact of them not playing in that one game. That one day in Baltimore, they came out here like a house on fire against Tampa Bay on Friday night.
Yeah, they sure did, and they looked refreshed. They looked energized, and certainly this time of the year when you can have a mental day off, it's as helpful as a physical day off. You don't have to prepare, and you don't have to think about anything. Rocky Matuk is having some series against the Blue Jays. See his second hit of the day. Matuk has swung the bat well against the Blue Jays. And he has another base hit, the leadoff single here in the sixth. Richie Schaefer. Pinch hit for Evan Longoria in the fourth inning. He goes after the first pitch. This is the philosophy that the Rays have taken in the second half of the season. They are an analytical based team. Analytics are really important in what they do, and they've always been of the mind, well, you make the pitcher work, you get a lot of pitches. Kevin Cash And his hitting coach, Derek Shelton, said, you know what? Let's look for fastballs. And if you hunt fastballs, that puts you in an aggressive hitter's mind. We heard Kevin Pillar talk about that in the second half of the season, how it's helped him turn his season around.
How can you go up there saying, I'm going to see 5 or 6 pitches and try and work a walk? That's wrong. That's not how you hit at the big league level. The pitchers are too good.
Luke comes off the mound quickly and throws a strike to throw out Richie Schaefer. 1 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Yeah, you talk about going up to the plate saying, I'm going to take 3 or 4 pitches here. And if you do that against David Price, you're going to be walking back to the bench. He'll punch you out on 3 pitches.
Sure. I mean, there's too much information. The players are just too good to go up there and dictate what you're going to do. I think if you're aggressive, the first pitch that's in there, have an aggressive state of mind, if you will.
And we don't want you just up there hacking, but you go up there with the mindset you're going to get a good pitch to hit on that first pitch. Chris Colabello's done it all season long. He's hitting over 550 on the first pitches of at-bats. It doesn't mean he's swinging at every one of them. But when he gets a good one, he's cutting it loose. Nick Franklin strikes out. Franklin came into the game defensively in the 3rd.
Well, he just knocked the bat right out of his hand, didn't he? 3 fastballs. See you later. That's just the 2nd strikeout of the afternoon by a Blue Jays pitcher.
Two outs. There's a fly ball to left. Jonathan Diaz now coming over and makes the catch. He took a very curious route to get there, but he made the catch. The shortstop playing in left field. Jonathan Diaz back and then says, oh, I better get over here where this ball's coming down, and he gets there in time to end the inning.
The opportunity to purchase 2015 Blue Jays postseason tickets. Go to bluejays.com/season tickets for more details. And Buck, for fans who get season tickets for next year, there's a very good chance they're going to see a new look at Rogers Center. Stephen Brooks tells me that he is cautiously optimistic that we will see a dirt infield at the Rogers Center next year.
Very interesting, Barry. A dirt infield, much like this playing surface here at Tropicana Field. But it'll certainly ease the burden on the infielders playing on dirt over the course of their 81 home games.
I could see that. That would be pretty neat.
It would certainly give it more of a baseball air, that's for sure.
Matt Andriese is the first reliever out of the bullpen after 6 very good innings for Matt Moore. Andriese has pitched 7 times against the Blue Jays this season, including 3 starts. So they know all about him.
Troy Tulowitzki, he's going to stay in the game, obviously. He's only played 2 games since September 12th. So he wants to get as many opportunities as he can. The other regulars have been lifted from this game. Martin's out of the game. Bautista, Donaldson. Left fielder Ben Revere, he's out of the game as well. Bowens. So they're making sure that everybody gets ample rest, and certainly this game has long since been decided. How does Tulowitzki look to you at the plate?
Timing's off just a little bit, and that's to be figured that was going to happen because he hasn't played for about 3 weeks, but his timing's off just a little bit, and I think that's the kind of thing that will come back quickly. He's sat out there and he has watched pitchers down in the bullpen to try to work on his timing, and he had the game the other day, the simulated game. There's a take. He got the hit off of the Blue Jays' #1 pick the other day, right here at Tropicana Field. When we were showing that simulated game, John Harris was throwing to him.
Yeah, John Harris, another minor leaguer, and David Price. So he had a chance to see a variety of pitches. A lefty, of course, in Price. A couple of right-handers. The big thing about Tulowitzki, he doesn't have any pain. I think that was the big concern, whether or not he'd have to deal with the pain. And he reaches for that one and hits it down the left field line. Dyer's over to cut it off. Tulowitzki is headed for second, and the throw is offline. Tulowitzki has a double. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell.
Number 11, Kevin Pillar.
We sure did. The Angels came back and scored 5 in the top of the 9th, so nobody is calling that one over and done just yet. How about Beltre with 3 more RBIs today? He's driven in 83. Fielder has driven in 2. He's got 98 for the season. And Mitch Moreland has 85 ribbies. The first baseman's had a terrific season.
I think he's got 20 home runs too, doesn't he?
I believe he does. He's had a very good season, and to his credit, Prince Fielder recognized right away that Mitch Moreland was a better first baseman than he was, and said, I'll DH here.
How about Josh Hamilton? Came back yesterday, hit a couple of home runs for Texas.
Against the Angels, the team that's paying him.
Paid $60 million to not play for him. And he might help him knock him out of the playoffs. You know, an interesting guy on the Texas Rangers, Delino DeShields Jr. He has had a big second half, and he's a very electric player. Electrified. People in Canada obviously know his name.
His father, of course, playing for the Expos, and you know, he's the type of player that can have a dramatic impact in the postseason because of his speed. He's got 2 hits today. He scored a pair of runs. Hitting .261 on the season, but you discount all those season averages once you get into the postseason. Look at skill sets. Cole Hamels is going the distance for the Rangers. Of course, their bullpen is tattered. Hamels into the 7th inning. He's thrown 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs.
So if they win that game, that's the opponent that the Blue Jays are going to face, correct?
Yes. The #1 seed is going to be Kansas City. They will play the winner of the wild card game that will be played on Tuesday night. So if Texas wins the game, John Gibbons will play against the Texas Rangers in the division series that begins Thursday.
That would give them 88 wins, and they would win that division.
And if you're wondering how the Blue Jays and Rangers fared, Blue Jays were 4-2 for the season, and they beat the Rangers in Texas 2 out of 3 and beat the Rangers at Rogers Center 2 out of 3 as well. But a big caveat to that is Blue Jays didn't see Cole Hamels, and they didn't have Giovanni Gallardo, who's always pitched tough on them. Pilar is called out. They had a few words to say to Alfonso Marquez, but then returned to the dugout.
And it's probably something like, I've been out in center field all day, and a lot of those pitches that were borderline when our pitchers were throwing were not a strike, so now I'm hitting, and you call it a strike.
Something to the effect of, had Mark Burley gotten those pitches in the first, he might still be pitching.
Yeah.
Ryan Goins. Now there's one that looked like it got the corner. We're in the 7th. In case you're just joining us, the Rays scored 9 runs in the bottom of the first. 9 runs on 6 hits and 2 Blue Jay errors. Bouncing ball. Loney will flip to Andres, who's there. Goins is retired.
The all-new 2016 Honda Pilot, proud partner and official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Jonathan Diaz will bat for the first time. He came in to play left field. Jonathan is now 30 years old. Blue Jays drafted him out of North Carolina State University in 2006. He was in the Blue Jays system for many years, but he got his first taste of big league action playing for the Red Sox. Actually got a World Series ring in 2013 as a call-up. Played in 5 games for Boston, but was awarded a World Series ring for his participation. Began with the Blue Jays at Auburn in 2006.
He can pick it too. You put him at shortstop, I don't care. Playoffs, regular season, doesn't matter. He can pick it.
He's played winter ball in the Dominican Republic the last 2 seasons. It's a foul slicing down the right side. It's bouncing into the seats. Jonathan has spent 10 years in the minor leagues. He's going to end up coaching one day. Terrific student of the game, understands the game and how you go about business. He's played a total of 35 major league games.
You know who he reminds me of? Johnny McDonald.
Yeah.
That infielder who's, you know, had to work really hard. As you see Aaron Sanchez starting to loosen up. He's had to work real hard. He's had to do all the little things, be fundamentally sound to succeed at the big league level.
He's fouled right off the knob of the bat. John McDonald was a guy that played a lot more than Jonathan has had a chance to play. And certainly Johnny Mack played a long time and a big fan favorite of the Blue Jay fans. Diaz having a good at bat. He's run the count to 3-2. Yeah, John McDonald spent 16 years in the big leagues.
16 years in the big leagues.
He's played 1,100 games on the nose. 1,100. Full count, 2 outs. Another foul.
Proof that if you've got leather, you can pick it, you can play in the big leagues for a long time. Teams are always looking for defenders. Any sport.
Yeah.
Think about that. Any sport, if you can play defense, you have a chance to be on the team.
And the chances are it's going to be a good team. That's where defense really matters. Cliff Pennington will bat next if Diaz can reach. Pops this from back in our direction. Well, this is always a tough day in baseball when you say goodbye to a lot of friends. And even though the Blue Jays are going to the postseason, a lot of these guys will return home. Guys like Darwin Barney, who's joined the team in September, he'll fly back to Oregon and be reunited with his family. Jonathan called out on strikes after that long at bat. Andreessen strikes him out. 2 strikeouts in the inning. To the bottom of the 7th. Aaron Sanchez looks like he's going to get some work.
From anywhere. Subscribe to the 2015-16 season before October 6th to get the early bird rate of $179.99. Get started at Rogers.com/NHL. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. We are in Florida, the final regular season game of the schedule. Munenori Kawasaki out to play third base as the Blue Jays are shifting things around now. Kawasaki's in at third. Cliff Pennington moves to short as Tulowitzki's now out of the game. He was at third base. He had taken over for Josh Donaldson. Darwin Barney comes in to relieve Ryan Goins at second. Dalton Pompey takes over in center field for Kevin Pillar.
So they are emptying the benches now. Everybody gets a chance in this last game of the regular season. Where they hit in the lineup, we'll have to figure that one out. But it's probably straight up.
Aaron Loup into the game. Last inning, he gave up a hit start the inning and then retired the next 3, including a strikeout of Nick Franklin. This is James Loney. Good opportunity for Loup to make an impression against the left-hander Loney.
Well, isn't that the truth right here? It's your last chance to make an impression on the coaches right before they pick the squad. And this would be the type of hitter out into the playoffs who he would be facing.
There's a fly ball down the left side, and it's going to be a foul into the Blue Jays bullpen, into the seats. Two and two, James Loney against Aaron Luke. Breaking ball pulled on the ground. Barney just into the game at second. Throws out Loney. That's going to be it for Aaron Luke. He gets his man here to start the seventh. John Gibbons has made the call. It'll be Aaron Sanchez coming in to pitch with one out in the seventh. For watching all season long, and if you want to see a great fan, check out Charlie Hurley. That was Charlie Hurley doing my home run call at Rogers Center. He was one of many contest winners for the 22 days of Blue Jays baseball in September, and I got a chance to meet him and his family and spend some time with him at Rogers Center on the final home game of the season. He did a pretty good job of calling that home run.
Pretty good. It sounded just like it right there. He got that one down.
That was great to spend time with him, and we want to congratulate him for being such a great Blue Jay fan, and we hope that he will enjoy the postseason right along with us. This is Aaron Sanchez coming in with one out in the bottom of the seventh.
Getting some work in. Aaron threw once already in this series. He had a very clean inning on Friday night for Sanchez. Fastball's back. He's getting some great movement. He's throwing some more cutters than we have seen recently, which could be an important pitch against right-handed batter. Make that ball go one way and then cut the ball the other way. Mix in a curveball every now and then. He has been dynamite since they've moved him into that eighth inning role.
Tim Beckham 0 for 2 with a walk goes after that first pitch. Sanchez is obviously going to be an important part of this Blue Jays bullpen in the postseason. He and Roberto Osuna have been a very good lockdown combination late in the game. I think the fact that Sanchez hasn't pitched an awful lot late in the season will serve him well. Further we get into the postseason.
Keep him fresh.
Roberto Osuna, of course, he was charged with the loss yesterday. He is shut down for the day. How about that tandem of the future for the Blue Jays? Osuna 20 and Stroman 24.
We talked about that yesterday in the opening about development of your own players, and the Blue Jays have had some players come out of their farm system the last couple of years that have been really good.
Sanchez uses that breaking ball to strike out Beckham. He couldn't pull the trigger.
Roberto Osuna, one of them. And then development of Marcus Stroman. Aaron Sanchez has come out of the farm system. Ryan Goins and Pilar.
I spoke to Marcus Stroman today about what it meant to be here with this winning team for the first time. He said, Roberto and I played together in Vancouver. They started out in rookie ball together. He says it's really special to grow up together with, as he called them, your brothers, and now enjoy a championship for the first time. And we feel like it's something we can do for a long time here. Aaron Sanchez and Marcus are very, very close friends, and they have been for a long time. And they talked about this in the minor leagues years ago, a couple of years ago. They said, you know, one of these days we're going to be part of the first winning team in Toronto for a long time. And now they have realized that dream.
It's like what Aaron Sanchez said to Pilar there. It's a long way from Bluefield.
Boy, do you know it is a long way from Bluefield. The countless hours you spend in the minor leagues. Aaron Sanchez is a great example. He had the disappointment of not making a team where he pitched very well a couple of years ago in the spring. Looked like he could have made the team out of spring training. And it was just a bad situation where he couldn't make the team, but he never lost his focus. He never lost his confidence and always stayed prepared to get back to the big leagues and put everything together. 3-1. Joey Butler goes after that high pitch. Bottom of the 7th inning. Tampa Bay leads it 12-1. Sanchez goes upstairs with that high heater and strikes out Joey Butler. He gets his 2 men on strikeouts. We'll go to the 8th. And the Blue Jays will start with Cliff Pennington. John Gibbons just kind of sitting back, reflecting on a very successful season. Not a good start to this day. The Rays scored 9 runs on 6 hits in the first inning. Mark Burley started and recorded just 2 outs.
Could have been a beautiful day.
Yeah, it could have been. Isn't that the truth? Ground ball to Ryan Goins, and he booted it.
Yeah, right.
Only his 3rd error at second, and that got things off to a bad start. But Pennington takes one outside. Pennington into the game defensively. This is his first at bat. Popped into the seats. Josh Donaldson went 0 for 3, and he will finish up batting .297 for the season. Donaldson hit .301 for the A's a couple of seasons ago. He was looking for his second 300 season, but he falls 3 points short.
Do you think it's harder to hit 300 nowadays than it was?
No question about it.
So do I. So do I.
You're dealing with 3-4 pitchers at night.
And they all throw 95. And then you factor in the defensive shifts and all the information that's out there. It is tough. That's why there's so few 300 hitters. This season, we told you there's just 20. There was only 17 last year. So that's just 37 in the last 2 seasons. That's the lowest consecutive season total since 1972-73.
Well, and you know what? Of course, the one record that'll never be broken will be the Joe DiMaggio hit streak, 56-game hit streak. But when you go back and look at that hit streak, he faced one pitcher for the entire game in a majority of those games, and they just didn't make pitching changes as frequent. And we're not trying to diminish anything that Joe DiMaggio did, obviously, but it was just a different era. Even when you talk about Pete Rose and his hit streak, he didn't see as many pitching changes. He might get 2 and 3 at bats against the same guy.
Not like now. Plus, there's more teams, so there's more pitchers. So there's, you know, back then when there were how many teams when Pete Rose played in 1978, there wasn't, what, 6 teams?
Yeah.
You knew that they faced the same pitchers over and over and over.
Matt Andres, he got all fouled up on the mound. He was stepping off the rubber, stepping into his delivery, all kinds of things. He balked about 3 times. They finally called it and sent Pennington to second. So Pennington walks now. He's at second on the balk by Matt Andres. Ezequiel Carrera batting for the first time. He took over in right field for Jose Bautista. Jose walked 3 times today, didn't have an official at bat. Bautista with 110 walks this season. He came into this game tied with Carlos Santana of the Indians for the lead in walks in the American League. Santana has walked once this afternoon.
That's a lot of times on base, isn't it? 110.
And that's how you score runs too. Bautista and Donaldson are 1-2 in the runs scored department in the American League. Donaldson's scored 122. Bautista 108.
He's going to end the season with more walks than strikeouts.
That's a terrific number when you think about it for a power hitter like Bautista. Nobody's hit more home runs since 2010 than Bautista. 227 home runs. But to be able to say that he walked more than he struck out in an era where strikeouts have been discounted.
Yeah, and nobody cares about strikeouts anymore. To hit 40 and drive at 100. Pretty impressive.
Carrera caught looking at strike 3. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell.
First baseman, Justin Smoke.
That's interesting. Now Texas has stretched out their lead 9-2 over the Angels. So it appears as though the Angels are going to go home after that terrific comeback yesterday. So Houston losing to Arizona. And that would give the Yankees home field advantage in their wild card game. So the Yankees would end up playing in New York.
Yankees are losing today. If they end up losing and Houston loses, those are the two wild card teams, and Houston would have to go to New York. If Houston comes back and wins that game, they get to host the Yankees.
Yeah, and that's an interesting scenario.
They're pretty good at home.
Houston's very good at home. They're just like the Blue Jays. Houston is 53-28 at home, the same record as the Blue Jays.
And their pitcher, who is lined up to pitch that game, Dallas Keuchel. And what does he admit it made?
15-0. That's pretty good. Masahiro Tanaka and Dallas Keuchel. We talked about the wild card matchup internationally. Jake Arrieta and Garrett Cole, Cubs and Pirates. Justin Smoke. That hit him on the hand, and he will go to first base. So Andres has walked a batter, struck out a batter, now hit a batter in his second inning of work here.
A little cutter. That's the last thing as a hitter you want to feel on the last day of the season. That one right off the knuckle of Justin Smoke. Hopefully it was just a glancing blow.
Chris Colabello hit his 15th home run of the season back in the fourth. He goes after the first pitch, and it's a high fly ball. Souza Jr. over near the wall and will run out of room.
The all-new 2016 Honda Pilot, proud partner and official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Broken bat pop-up. Richie Schaefer comes down and makes the catch. 2 down now.
Catcher Josh Tolley.
Josh Tolley batting for the first time. He took over for Russell Martin, bottom of the 6th. Tolley for the season batting .208. He's only been in 17 games. Of course, he was the catcher for Dickey middle of the season. This is a bouncing ball towards second. It'll flip to the pitcher, Andres, and the inning is over. We're going to the bottom of the 8th, 12-1 Tampa Bay. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Song.
of My Blue Jays. New for 2016, fans across Canada will have the opportunity to join. You can earn points throughout the season to redeem for exciting experiences and memorabilia. Go to bluejays.com/mybluejays for more details. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry Davis, and certainly want to get part of that. And the Blue Jays certainly a lot to look forward to. Thursday at Rogers Center, Game 1 of the ALDS. It appears as though the opponent will be the Texas Rangers. Jeff Francis into the ball game. This will be his 14th appearance with the Jays. If you're wondering how the Blue Jays fared against the Rangers this season, we'd mentioned that the 4-2 had split.
And that will probably be Giovanni Gallardo versus David Price, don't you think?
Given that Hamels pitched today.
Yeah, and Gallardo has been awesome against the Blue Jays. This year, over his career, doesn't matter. He has been tough on them, especially this season.
He has been very tough on the Blue Jays throughout his career, but this season, I don't think they've scored a run off of him.
I don't either. I think he shut him out at Rogers Center when we saw him earlier in the year. And then he pitched against him again down in Texas when we were there in August.
Gallardo has never lost to the Blue Jays. He's 3-0 in 3 career starts and has held the Blue Jays to a 186 opponent's batting average. He's a tough customer. He pitches, in my mind, the Blue Jays the same way Tanaka does.
Yeah.
He pitches them on the edges, never really leaving anything over the plate, and he does it with a wide assortment of pitches.
And when he's getting that breaking ball over, he can be tough.
Brendan Guyer, the leadoff man. Guyer got it all started this afternoon for Tampa Bay. Hit what looked to be a routine ground ball to the second baseman, and Ryan Goins committed the error, and that started the floodgates open.
Well, you knew something was up whenever you see Ryan Goins make an error. That just doesn't happen.
Oh, 0-2. That's a good idea with the infant there, not the beer, the earphones.
It's loud here.
Ear protection, that's for sure. But it is loud in here, and music they play very, very loud. And I'm certainly not advocating you give a young child a beer like that, but the headset is what I was referring to.
Yes.
Of course, there is a cap on top of that bottle. Ground ball hit to short. Pennington quickly to Barney. Back to first in time. Six, 4-3 on a double play.
That's how you come right back after giving up a leadoff single. Throw that double play grounder. Blue Jays have now turned 144 double plays this season. That's another big marked improvement, if you ask me, the defense and turning tough double plays.
Tough double plays, that's the key phrase. Obviously, those double plays late in the game to get you out of innings. And you got those guys now that hang in there and turn them.
Yeah, it takes a good second baseman, I think. A lot of balls are hit to the left side of the infield. But you have to have a second baseman stay in there and then have enough arm to finish off that double play.
Ryan Goins certainly fills that profile. He's got a strong arm, great range, gets to the bag very quickly. Goins and Tulowitzki started in this game. They have become a very good double play combination. Goins, a natural shortstop. Mikey Matuk hits it to right. Carrera is there and makes the catch. Francis gets a double play after the leadoff single. We'll go to the ninth. Left-hander Eddie Romero comes in to make his 23rd appearance of the season.
We saw Eddie on Friday night, and it was Romero was the loser in that ball game. He gave up the big hit, the big triple to Ryan Goins. The first batter that he faced, Goins tripled in a couple of runs. He ended up losing that game, so he's 0-2 with a 466 earned run average.
Dalton Pompey batting in the 7th spot in the order. This is his first at bat. Pompey's going to play winter ball, and good opportunity for him to further his development. He started out as the opening day center fielder, and then was sent back to the minor leagues for more development.
Yeah, when you're a young player, all you got to do is just keep playing the game of baseball, and pretty soon, you know, if you're able to, you'll understand the game, and the game will start slowing down for you. So when I hear young players say, when we ask them, hey, you're going to play winter? Nah, I think I'm going to take the time off. I've played enough baseball this year. You're a young player. You can't get enough of this game if you want to succeed at the big league level.
There's a base hit for Pompey. He hustles around first. He's going to challenge the center fielder, and he gets there with a stand-up double. That's a good last at bat for the season for Pompey. Gets himself a leadoff double here in the ninth.
And don't you know, the Blue Jay brass, they're going to remember that, and they're going to file that away. 12-1, and he's thinking about extra bases right here. He took those over there to cut it off, but he has no chance to get Pompey. Just runs too well, and we will probably see Dalton. There's a really good chance that he makes that playoff roster.
That's a good point. Because of his speed and the ability to come in and steal bases. His 8th double of the season, and Pompey was very effective in September when they inserted him as a pinch runner. This is Darwin Barney. Pompey was caught for the first time in his big league career on Thursday in that final game in Baltimore. He walked to lead off the inning, then was thrown out trying to steal. He was 5 for 5 for the season before that caught stealing. Darwin Barney pops it out of play. Barney did a nice job providing some backup for the Blue Jays in the middle infield. He's a terrific defender. We saw him make some fine defensive plays.
Blue Jays are real smart. They realized that Tulowitzki was going to be out for a few weeks, so they got right on the phones, and they were able to find a veteran in Darwin Barney to play for 3 weeks while Tulowitzki was out.
There's a high deep drive to left. Barney has just hit a 2-run home run, his second home run since joining the Blue Jays. He hit a home run Wednesday in game 2 of that doubleheader, and now he hits a 2-run homer here in the ninth.
Really, that was a no doubt about it home run. The crack of the bat and the arc of the ball told you that that ball was not going to come back. Oh, and Barney do it. 2 runs for the Blue Jays. That's 891 on the season now.
Munenori Kawasaki batting for the first time.
One more time. Right over the middle of the plate, and Darwin sends it out of here. That's a good feeling, the last swing of the season.
Well, it sure is. And Kawasaki gets a base hit. Munenori is his first at bat. Don't forget Sportsnet Central coming right up after this game. Kawasaki with the single, 3 hits in a row off Enny Romero.
Put a smile on your face after you hit a ball like that, right?
Oh, what a good way to finish up your season. Coming to a new team, making a positive impression. Jonathan Diaz in his second at-bat. He was called out on strikes in the 7th. Oh, and 2. Bouncing ball off the plate. Romero comes over and makes a grab. It's going to be a base hit for Diaz. 4 straight hits allowed by Romero since coming into the game. A little chopper on home plate.
We saw the long home run, and then now we're going to see the short base hit. An infield hit for Diaz. Enny Romero's not having any fun right now.
Not at all. Coming in here just to mop up this game, and he's given up 2 runs so far on 4 hits. Cliff Pennington. This is his second at bat. He walked in the 8th. So it is official now. The Pirates will host the Cubs in the wild card game on Wednesday.
They beat the Reds
4-0. But Jay Happ, that was his 7th win for the Pirates since he moved from Seattle to Pittsburgh.
Some of those transactions that go under the radar, they just slide in there right at the end of the trade deadline. They end up paying huge dividends.
Ben Revere, he's the perfect example. You know, everybody just kind of ho-hummed the Ben Revere pickup, but man, has he been a big part of this. He got a hit to start the game. He ends up the season with 181 hits for the season. This has popped up into shallow right. Steven Souza Jr. coming in, making the catch. Let's check in once again with Jamie Campbell.
Right fielder, Ezekiel Carrera.
And they will meet the Toronto Blue Jays in the AL Division Series that begins on Thursday. Texas in Toronto. That's the matchup. Ezekiel Carrera struck out in the 8th. Check swing foul. (12-3) Tampa Bay. They scored 9 in the first. Miguel Cabrera has won the batting title in the American League. Chris Davis hit a home run today, his 46th. He will win the home run title. Josh Donaldson will win the RBI title in the American League.
I love these last days. Everything starts to get finalized. Who wins the batting title? Who gets into the playoffs? Numbers. You can add to your numbers, your totals.
Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion will finish 4th, 5th, and 6th in the American League home run race. 41, 40, and 39. Donaldson and Bautista 1-2 in the RBIs. Encarnacion 4th. Donaldson and Bautista 1-2 in runs scored. Donaldson with 184 hits. That's best for 5th in the American League. And Josh Donaldson will lead the American League in total bases. Edwin Encarnacion will lead in grand slams with 3. On the ground. Second for 1. Beckham has no throw. Jonathan Diaz makes sure Justin Smoke gets an at bat. Carrera grounds into the force out. 2 down. So Smoke with Kawasaki at 3rd and Carrera at 1st. Batting with 2 outs. The Blue Jays have scored 891 runs for the season. A 3-run home run right here would tie the franchise record.
Just what I was thinking right there. 3-run home run.
There's a line drive, and that's the season. Smoke lines out to short. Tampa Bay wins a laugh for 12-3, but the Blue Jays, they got the last laugh. They won the division.
Yeah, and they will go to the playoffs. The Blue Jays had an outstanding season. They win 93 games for the season. That's their most wins in a season since 1993, and we all remember what happened in '93. They went to the World Series. Now the season's over. Now it's time to start concentrating on the next opponent, and that looks like it's going to be the Texas Rangers.
John Gibbons, the manager of the champion AL East winners, the Blue Jays. Chris Colabello with his 15th home run today. We will see you during the postseason. Thanks for a great season, folks. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central.